Chosen ones, pause for a moment and listen carefully. If the past few weeks have felt strangely quiet, if the pressure you once felt has suddenly lifted, if something inside you is saying, "This is about to change," this message is for you. December 17th is not a random date. It marks the end of a waiting season that tested your patience, your faith, and your strength. Many of you were delayed, overlooked, and kept in preparation longer than you understood. But what if that delay was the final requirement? Today, 7 unmistakable signs begin to appear. Signs that your long-delayed blessing is activating now. Not later, not someday. Today. You won't hear thunder, you won't see fireworks, but you will feel the shift. If you've noticed sudden calm, emotional release from the past, or a quiet certainty you can't explain, you're already closer than you think. Stay with me until the end, because sign number 7 is the one only chosen ones recognize, and missing it could mean misunderstanding this moment. Before we begin, comment, "I'm ready," if you feel this shift happening in your life right now. One of the first and clearest signs that your blessing is activating is something most people overlook: unexpected calm. Not excitement, not anxiety, not the restless energy of wanting something to happen right now. Just calm, quiet, steady. For a long time, urgency may have driven you. The feeling that time was running out. The sense that if you didn't push harder, try more, or figure everything out immediately, you might miss your moment. That urgency was heavy. It lived in your thoughts, your body, even your sleep. But now, without any clear external reason, that pressure begins to dissolve. You may notice that the voice saying, "I need this to happen now," has gone quiet. Not because you stopped caring, but because you stopped fearing. The desperation didn't fade through effort or logic. It simply lifted. You're no longer chasing outcomes or forcing timelines. You're present, grounded, breathing easier. This calm is not giving up. It is not settling, and it is definitely not losing hope. This calm is alignment. When a blessing is still far away, the mind stays on high alert. It overthinks. It questions every sign. It worries about every delay. It tries to control the process because uncertainty feels unsafe. But when something is close, when it is already moving toward you, the nervous system relaxes. Your spirit knows before your mind does. That is why this calm feels different. It's not empty. It's full of quiet confidence. On December 17th, many chosen ones wake up feeling lighter without being able to explain why. The same life circumstances may still be there. The same unanswered questions may exist, but the emotional weight attached to them is gone. The pressure lifts. The waiting no longer feels painful or unfair. For the first time in a long time, you are okay not knowing every detail. That's because the work has already been done. You've learned the lessons. You've endured the delays. You've released what needed to be released. And now your system recognizes safety. Your nervous system senses stability before your logical mind catches up. This is why you don't feel rushed anymore. This is why you're not spiraling. This is why you're not trying to force the future into shape. You're trusting the process, not because someone told you to, but because your body and spirit finally believe it. This calm also brings clarity. Decisions feel simpler. You're less reactive. Other people's opinions carry less weight. You're no longer trying to prove anything. You're no longer trying to convince the universe you're ready. You just know. And that knowing changes how life responds to you. Blessings arrive when you stop grabbing and start allowing. When your energy says, "I'm safe either way," the universe knows It's time to deliver what you've been prepared for. This calm is not the end of the journey. It's the doorway. So if today you feel quieter inside, more settled, more at peace with uncertainty, don't question it. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let it be. This calm is not random. It is confirmation. Something you've been waiting for is no longer distant. It's close enough that your spirit can finally rest. And that rest is the signal that everything is about to move. Another unmistakable sign that your delayed blessing activates is emotional neutrality toward the past. This is not about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't matter. It's about reaching a place where the past no longer controls your inner world. People who once triggered you, situations that once hurt deeply, memories that used to sting the moment they crossed your mind. They no longer have access to your emotions. You may still remember everything clearly. The details haven't disappeared. The lessons are still there, but the charge is gone. There's no tightness in your chest, no sudden anger, no urge to replay conversations or imagine different endings. What once pulled a reaction from you now passes through without resistance. This shift is powerful because it happens quietly. You don't wake up one day deciding to move on. There's no dramatic moment of forgiveness or confrontation. Instead, you simply realize that you're no longer emotionally invested in outcomes that once consumed you. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be understood. You don't need to be right. That's when you know something has completed. This is not numbness. It's not avoidance. And it's definitely not suppression. This is completion, the natural result of growth. When you are still energetically tied to the past, it shows up as emotional reactions. Old wounds reopen easily. Old names still trigger a response. Old situations still feel unfinished. But when a lesson is fully integrated, the emotion dissolves on its own. There's nothing left to process. Blessings don't arrive while you're still carrying emotional contracts with old versions of yourself. They arrive when you've outgrown what once held power over you. On December 17th, many chosen ones realize they no longer need apologies to move forward. They don't need explanations to feel at peace. They don't need recognition for what they endured. The need for closure disappears because closure has already happened internally. You may notice that you're no longer checking on the past, emotionally or mentally. You're not wondering if people regret losing you. You're not waiting for karma to prove a point. You're not hoping someone finally sees your worth. You already do. This is a sign of true freedom. When the past stops pulling your attention, your energy becomes available for the future. The space that was once occupied by emotional weight is now open for alignment, opportunity, and growth. This is why neutrality is so powerful. It means the chapter is closed, even if the book is still on the shelf. The story exists, but it no longer defines who you are or where you're going. And once the past releases you, the future doesn't hesitate. Things begin to move faster because there's nothing holding you back energetically. Your focus sharpens, your intuition clears, your decisions come from the present, not from wounds. If today you notice that old memories feel distant, that familiar triggers don't land the same way, or that certain names no longer carry emotional weight, don't question it. This isn't detachment by force, it's growth by completion. This is the moment where your energy fully returns to you. And when that happens, what's meant for you finally has space to arrive. One of the most fascinating signs that your delayed blessing is activating is the sudden rise in synchronicities. Those moments where life lines up in ways that feel too precise to be random. You're not searching for signs. yet they keep finding you. You may start noticing repeating numbers everywhere you go. The same phrase shows up in conversations, songs, or headlines within hours of each other. Someone sends you a message that answers a question you never spoke out loud. An opportunity appears right when you finally stopped asking for it. These moments catch your attention not because they're dramatic, but because they feel intentional. These are not coincidences. They are confirmation signals. When a blessing is delayed, life often feels resistant. You push and nothing moves. You ask and silence follows. You try different directions and each one seems blocked. But when that delay ends, when the blessing activates, reality begins rearranging itself to meet you where you are. Doors open quietly, paths realign subtly, timing becomes precise. You don't have to chase signs during this phase because they appear naturally. You're no longer trying to decode every little thing. Instead, patterns reveal themselves effortlessly. What once felt confusing now feels guided. On December 17th, many chosen ones experience the sensation that life is finally responding instead of resisting. You might notice that conversations flow more easily. People say the right thing at the right time. Encounters feel purposeful, not random. Even small interactions carry meaning. This is alignment in action. When you're out of alignment, every decision feels heavy. You second-guess yourself. You overthink. You feel like you're swimming upstream. But when alignment is restored, decisions come with clarity. You don't need long explanations or constant reassurance. You simply know which direction feels right. That knowing is what makes life feel smoother. You may also notice that effort produces more results than before. Things that once required force now unfold with minimal resistance. This doesn't mean life becomes perfect overnight. It means you're no longer fighting the current. You're being carried. Synchronicities show up as reassurance during transition periods. They remind you that you're not alone in the process and that your timing is not off. Even when you don't have all the answers, the path continues to reveal itself one step at a time. This is especially powerful because it restores trust. You stop feeling like everything depends on you pushing harder or doing more. You realize that there's an intelligence moving alongside you, responding to your inner shifts, and that realization changes how you show up. You become more present, more observant, less reactive. You start listening instead of rushing. You notice details you once ignored, and those details guide you forward in ways logic never could. If today feels filled with small but meaningful confirmations, moments that make you pause and think, "That's interesting," pay attention. These are not distractions. They are signals that you're in the right place at the right time. This is what alignment feels like when it becomes visible. You're no longer pushing against the current of your life. You're moving with it. And when that happens, the blessing you've been waiting for doesn't have to fight its way to you. It simply arrives, naturally, precisely, and right on time. One powerful and often misunderstood sign that your delayed blessing is activating is silence with confidence. Not silence born from fear or exhaustion, but silence that comes from knowing who you are and where you're going. You no longer feel the need to explain your vision, your journey, or your choices to people who don't truly see you. The urge to justify yourself fades. The need to be understood by everyone disappears. You realize that your life doesn't require universal approval to move forward. Chosen ones eventually reach a point where a deep truth settles in. Not everyone needs to understand me for my life to work. This realization changes how you communicate. You stop oversharing. You stop defending decisions that already feel right to you. You stop shrinking your truth to make others comfortable or to avoid being questioned. On December 17th, something clicks internally. The inner debate ends. You recognize that explaining yourself repeatedly doesn't bring clarity. It drains energy. You see how often your words were used against you, misunderstood, or dismissed. And instead of trying harder, you choose peace. This is not arrogance. This is self-trust. Self-trust is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek validation. It doesn't argue. When you trust yourself, you don't need to convince anyone else. You let your choices speak for you. You let time reveal the truth. This shift is important because blessings require maturity. They require boundaries. They require discernment. Not everyone is meant to have access to your plans, your growth, or your next steps. Some people only understand you once they see results, and by then, explanation is no longer necessary. When you stop explaining yourself, your energy stays intact. You're no longer leaking power by trying to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, that energy gets redirected inward, toward alignment, focus, and clarity. You may notice that conversations feel different now. You listen more than you speak. You choose your words carefully. You don't rush to respond. You don't feel obligated to fill silence. And when someone questions your path, you don't feel the need to defend it. This is growth. Silence, when paired with confidence, sends a powerful signal to life. It says, "I know where I'm going, even if I don't explain it." That signal creates momentum. It clears resistance. It creates space for manifestation. When explanation ends, manifestation begins, because your attention shifts from convincing others to honoring yourself. You stop performing your purpose and start living it. You stop seeking agreement and start embodying alignment. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself or shut people out completely. It means you become selective. You understand that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. You protect your vision until it's strong enough to stand on its own. If today you feel less inclined to talk and more inclined to observe, trust that instinct. If you feel comfortable letting people misunderstand you, that's a sign of inner security. If you're choosing peace over proving a point, you're exactly where you need to be. This quiet confidence is not a pause, it's preparation. Because once your blessing arrives, explanations won't be required. Your life will speak for itself. Another unmistakable sign that your delayed blessing is activating is a sharp, undeniable clarity about what no longer belongs in your life. This clarity doesn't arrive as chaos or confusion. It arrives as certainty. Things you once tolerated now feel unbearable. Opportunities that once excited you now feel empty. Relationships that once felt safe now feel draining. What changed isn't the situation, it's you. This shift can feel surprising because it happens quickly. One day you're trying to make something work, and the next day you realize you're done forcing it. There's no long debate, no emotional tug of war, just a calm inner decision that says, "This is not for me anymore." This clarity is not loss, it's discernment. You're not becoming difficult, you're becoming honest. You're not rejecting growth, you're rejecting misalignment. What once fit your old version no longer fits who you're becoming. On December 17th, many chosen ones stop settling internally. Even if things look acceptable on the surface, something inside you refuses to compromise. You'd rather wait than accept something that feels wrong. You'd rather pause than move forward out of fear or habit. This is a powerful turning point. In the past, you may have said yes out of survival obligation, or hope that things would improve. You gave chances. You adjusted yourself. You stayed longer than you should have. But now, your inner standard has risen, and it won't lower itself again. This doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you aligned. When a blessing is close, the tolerance for misalignment disappears. Your energy becomes too valuable to waste. Your time becomes too important to misuse. Your intuition becomes too clear to ignore. You begin to notice how quickly your body reacts to situations that are not meant for you. There's tension, resistance, fatigue, a sense of heaviness, and instead of pushing through it like before, you listen. This listening is what changes everything. You're not losing options. You're refining direction. Paths that once seemed possible fall away so that the right one can reveal itself. This narrowing is not limitation, it's focus. Blessings don't arrive when you're available for everything. They arrive when you're selective. When you say no to what drains you, you create space for what energizes you. When you stop entertaining distractions, clarity moves in. Your standards rise because your destiny demands it. The life you're stepping into requires a stronger version of you, one who knows their worth, honors their intuition, and doesn't settle for comfort over alignment. This moment may feel quiet, but it's decisive. You're not announcing your choices. You're not arguing your reasons. You're simply moving differently. If today you feel a firm inner no where there used to be hesitation, trust it. If something no longer excites you the way it once did, let it go without guilt. If you feel drawn to wait rather than rush into the wrong thing, honor that instinct. This clarity is not blocking your blessing. It's preparing you to receive it. And once you choose alignment over availability, the next phase unlocks naturally. This sign is subtle, but it carries immense power. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or loud emotions. It arrives quietly as a steady inner knowing that says, I'm ready, even though you don't yet know what's ahead. You don't know how things will change. You don't know when everything will fully unfold. You don't have a clear picture of what the next chapter looks like, but you feel ready. This readiness doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from having built yourself strong enough to face whatever comes next. There's no rush to control outcomes, no panic about details. Instead, there's a grounded confidence that you'll figure things out as they happen. Ready for responsibility, ready for expansion, ready for something bigger than your old life. This readiness is not excitement, it's stability. Excitement is restless. It wants proof. It wants guarantees. Stability is calm. It trusts itself. On December 17th, many chosen ones noticed that growth no longer feels intimidating. The idea of more visibility, more responsibility, more impact doesn't trigger fear the way it once did. In the past, you may have secretly worried about what success would demand from you. You questioned whether you could handle the pressure, the expectations, or the changes it would bring. But now, that fear has softened, not because the challenge is smaller, but because you are stronger. The fear of success dissolves first. You stop worrying about whether you'll mess it up. You stop imagining everything that could go wrong. You trust your ability to adapt, learn, and lead. You understand that growth doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Then the fear of visibility fades. Being seen no longer feels dangerous. You're no longer hiding your truth or minimizing your capabilities. You don't need to prove yourself, but you're no longer afraid to be recognized either. You're comfortable being where you are, and that comfort creates confidence. Finally, the fear of responsibility loosens its grip. You no longer see responsibility as a burden. You see it as evidence that you're capable. You've carried heavy things before. You've survived uncertainty, disappointment, and delay. Responsibility no longer scares you because you've already handled far worse. This shift is important because blessings don't arrive until they are safe to arrive. They come when you're emotionally prepared to receive them without self-sabotage, when you no longer doubt your worth or your ability to manage what you ask for. You finally trust yourself to handle what you once prayed for. That trust changes everything. It signals maturity. It signals readiness. It tells life that you won't shrink when things expand. You won't panic when things move faster. You won't abandon yourself when new challenges appear. If today you feel steady instead of anxious about the future, honor that feeling. If you feel capable rather than overwhelmed, recognize that growth has already happened within you. This inner readiness didn't appear overnight. It was built through every delay, every lesson, every moment you thought nothing was happening. This is the moment where preparation turns into permission. And that permission is what makes the blessing safe to arrive. The final sign is the most powerful because it doesn't rely on anything outside of you. There is no external confirmation, no dramatic message, no sudden breakthrough that everyone can see. There is no sign, no proof, no explanation. There is only knowing. It arrives as a deep, unshakable inner awareness that something has shifted, not in a way you can logically explain, but in a way you can feel in your core. A calm inner voice rises without effort and says, "This chapter is ending." You don't announce it. You don't try to describe it. You don't even fully understand it, but you trust it. This knowing doesn't come from hope or wishful thinking. It comes from completion. It feels settled, grounded, and final. There's no urgency attached to it, no anxiety, no need to rush or prove anything. On December 17th, many chosen ones cross an invisible threshold. Nothing may look different on the surface, yet internally, everything has changed. The waiting season closes quietly. The preparation phase completes without ceremony. And without forcing it, the receiving phase begins. This shift doesn't demand action. It doesn't ask for effort. It doesn't require explanation. It simply is. What makes this sign so powerful is its simplicity. You stop questioning whether you're on the right path. You stop looking for reassurance. You stop asking, when will it happen? Because something inside you already knows that it has. This certainty doesn't come with excitement or fear. It comes with peace, a sense of arrival, a feeling that you no longer need to prepare yourself mentally for what's next because you're already aligned with it. Not all blessings arrive dramatically. Some don't make noise when they enter your life. Some arrive as inner certainty before they appear as external change, and that certainty changes how you move through the world. You become patient without effort. You become confident without needing validation. You become grounded without needing control. This knowing allows you to release expectations. You're no longer attached to how things should unfold. You trust the timing without forcing it. You allow life to meet you where you are instead of trying to chase it. This is the moment when resistance disappears. You're not waiting anymore. You're allowing. You're present. You're steady. And from that place, life begins to respond differently. Opportunities feel aligned. Decisions feel natural. You don't second-guess your intuition. You simply follow it. If today you feel a calm certainty without evidence, honor it. If you sense that something important has completed, even though nothing obvious has happened yet, trust that awareness. This is not imagination, it's recognition. This is the quiet moment where everything turns, because once certainty arrives, doubt no longer has power. And when doubt releases its grip, what's meant for you doesn't hesitate. This is it. As this message comes to a close, understand something important. Nothing you've experienced was wasted. Every delay, every quiet season, every moment where it felt like nothing was happening was actually shaping you for this point in time. You were never falling behind. You were being prepared. If these signs resonated with you, it's because you're no longer in the waiting phase. You're in the transition. The shift may feel subtle, but its impact will be lasting. Life doesn't always change in loud, obvious ways. Sometimes it changes through clarity, peace, and a deep inner certainty that you're finally aligned. From this moment forward, pay attention to how you feel rather than what you see. Trust the calm, trust the clarity, trust the sense of readiness that has replaced fear. These are not random emotions. They are signals that your path is opening in the right way, at the right time. You don't need to rush. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. What's meant for you will recognize your readiness and meet you where you are. Your role now is simple. Stay grounded, stay aware, and stay open. Remember, not all blessings arrive as sudden breakthroughs. Some arrive as inner shifts that quietly change how you move, think, and decide. And those inner changes are often the ones that reshape your entire life. If this message spoke to you, take it as confirmation that you're exactly where you need to be. Trust the process unfolding in front of you. The chapter you've been waiting for isn't coming. It has already begun.